Excuse me. Let me turn the music back up. This week, we're going to talk about 5 things in particular. And I try to keep it around 30 minutes, but it may go a little longer, a little shorter, who knows. First thing, of course, power rankings. We're due again. It's after week 8. And this week, we're going to use the Daddy League's power rankings. And then I'll tell you where you were last week and how that changed. For some reason, number 32 in the Daddy League's power rankings is the Kansas City Chiefs, even though they're 2-5. So they have Kansas City as the worst team. I don't agree with that, but that's what Daddy League says. Daddy League uses strength of schedule as a big thing, and the teams that you beat in that strength of schedule is a big way of determining where you're ranked. So the Chiefs in the rankings were at 24th last week. So that's an 18 drop. But once again, this is Daddy League's rankings we're using this time around, just to give you a little difference of how they look at things compared to how I look at them. Number 31 team in the power rankings, according to Daddy Leagues, London Black Knights. They're 1-6. They're currently on Army assignment still. They should be back at the end of June, is what I was told. Number 30 in the power rankings, according to Daddy Leagues, Indianapolis Colts, which matches what I had last time for them. Grind mode's Colts are at 1-7 on the season. Number 29 in the rankings, according to Daddy Leagues, Detroit Lions at 1-7. Number 28 in the power rankings, Pittsburgh Steelers. I would have had them lower, honestly. Considering he doesn't play very many games. Number 27, according to Daddy Leagues, are the Atlanta Falcons, and that matches where I had them in my last power rankings. They're 1-6, but I think they're a dangerous 1-6. They've played good teams close. I know they just lost to the Saints by 5, and I have them coming out of the bye. And usually when I come out of buys, I struggle, so I'm worried about that game because I don't know them that well. Um, it will probably get off to a slow start in that game. Number 26 in the power rankings are the Denver Broncos at 1-7. I hope to God we have a good Broncos owner now. I mean, excuse me, we can't seem to have a good Broncos owner with some sense, and it makes me mad because that's a good team, and I always like to see good teams with good owners. I think we got it fixed with the Lions. Now we need to get it fixed with the Broncos, and hopefully we have. I hope so. Number 25, according to Daddy Leagues in the power rankings, are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're 3-5 on the year. I had the Buccaneers um, lower in my previous rankings, so that's a good sign that they've moved up. So, number 24 in the rankings according to Daddy Leagues are the London Bulldogs. They just had a really tough game with the Buffalo Bills tonight. I had the Bulldogs 19th in my last rankings. That was coming off their big win over the Lumberjacks. Um, they hadn't seemed to build momentum off of that. However, they've been very competitive in most of their games. Number 23 in the Daddy League's power rankings are the New York Jets at 4-3. I had the Jets at 22, so we're pretty close on that. Number 22 in the power rankings for Daddy Leagues, Buffalo Bills at 4-4. I had the Bills in the top 10 last time, so they've obviously kind of dropped off a little bit. But they got a big win tonight, get back to 500, so they're still in the shots for the playoffs, which we'll take a look at here in a little bit. Number 21, according to Daddy League's power rankings, are the Green Bay Packers at 3-4. I had the Packers at where were they? Packers. Number 11, they were in at my previous rankings that I did. So the Packers have fallen off a little bit, but still at 3-4, I think they got an outside shot at a playoff berth in the NFC. Number 20, according to Dan League's power rankings, are the Los Angeles Dragons, former Chicago Bears. They're 2-5 on the year. I know they just got a big win over the Detroit Lions the other day. A little bit of controversy in that one, but they seem to have worked it out. Number 19 in the Dan League's power rankings are the Seattle Seahawks at 3-4. I had the Seahawks at 15 last time. The Seahawks just had a sim loss to the New York Giants. So I think that played a big role in them dropping a couple of spots here in the Daddy League Let's see who's next here. Move up a little bit. Washington Redskins come in at number 18 in the Daddy League's power rankings at 4-4 on the season. Just played the Redskins before my bye. They lost 33 to nothing. Tough game for them. They didn't have a lot of things go their way. My guys played really well on both sides. He's a very good guy. He took the loss well. You know, he took it a lot better than most of you. But I'm mad at the Redskins, and I'm gonna get to that here in a second when I have my rant of the week, the new segment. I'm sure y'all will love it. Number 17 in the Daddy League's power rankings are the New York Giants. New York Giants are 3-4 on the season. They've had a few sims here lately. I don't know if he's busy or what, or he's been traveling or something. But I had the Giants in 18 in the last power ranking, so they pretty much stayed the same there. Number 16 in the Daddy League's power rankings are the Cincinnati Bengals at 4-4. I had the Bengals at number 17 in the last power ranking, so some of this is just kind of staying on course so far. Alright, number 15 in the Daddy League's power rankings are the New Orleans Saints at 5-3. I had the Saints at number 9 in my last power rankings. I'm always a little biased towards them, but they had a tough loss today to the Cleveland Browns. A lot of turnovers for Garrett Grayson in that game. I watched some of that. But they're still at 5-3 in a good spot for a wild card berth in the NFC. Number 14 in the Daddy League's power rankings, San Francisco 49ers are 5-2 on the year. The Sanzos 49ers. We tried to get a trade done before the deadline, and I'll talk trade deadline talk here in a little bit. But they're still in a very good spot themselves in the NFC West, and even possibly win the division. I had him at number 12 in my last power rankings, so that's pretty close. Number 13 in the Daddy League's power rankings, San Diego Chargers at 5-3. In the last power rankings, I had the Chargers at number 21, so they've won a couple of games to move up in the power rankings. Number 12 in the Daddy League's power rankings are the Toronto Huskies at 4-3. I had the Huskies at number 13 in the last power rankings, and they've got a big game coming up with the Dallas Cowboys for positioning in the NFC East division that's going to be really interesting to watch, as I've said before. Number 11 in the Daddy League's power rankings are the Baltimore Ravens at 4-3. I had the Ravens at number 3 in the last power rankings. The Ravens have suffered a couple of losses since then. Close games. I remember the one against the Texans was really close. Two very good teams. No shame in the Ravens losing that game at all. Number 10 in the Daddy League's power rankings are the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are 4-3 and playing a lot of games. Amazing what happens when that happens. Cowboys are one of the teams I'm going to talk about when we talk about trade deadline talks. And I'm making a note of that right now because I have a couple of things I want to address. In my previous rankings, I had the Cowboys at number 20. So they've won a couple games and they moved up. Good job for them. Number 9 in the Daddy League's power rankings are the Arizona Cardinals at 5-3. Cardinals previously were number 5 in the power rankings. I know they've lost a couple of games. They lost a game to the Raiders last night, I believe, 28-10, right before advance. They got their quarterback Tyrod Taylor's out, so Sam Bradford's playing quarterback for the Cardinals. And, you know, you got to do what you got to do. You know, he's gonna win some, he's gonna lose some. He's an average quarterback. I hate to say it, it's just the truth. Number 8 in the Daddy League's power rankings are the Cleveland Browns at 6-2. Browns had a big win today over the Saints I mentioned earlier. In the previous power rankings, the Browns are number 16. So they've won some games and moved up. And I'm going to mention them when we talk about trade deadline also, because they made an acquisition that a lot of Browns fans were happy about. Number 7 in the Daddy League's power rankings are the Minnesota Vikings at 5-2. Previously, the Vikings were at number 14 in the power rankings, so they have moved up a good bit and starting to take control of that division in the NFC North. Number 6 in the power rankings are the Houston Texans at 6-1. Previously, the Texans were number 8 in the power rankings, according to me, and they moved up a couple, number 5. There we go. AFC, we have the Lumberjacks on top, 6-1. The Jets are 4-3. Bills are 4-4. Obviously, I think this is the Lumberjacks' race to lose. Um, they've dominated the Jets and the Bills when they've played. Maybe injuries would play a role here, but I foresee the Lumberjacks winning the AFC East and possibly having a top seed once the playoffs get started. AFC West, we have, like I just mentioned, the Raiders and the Chargers. Raiders at 6-2, Chargers at 5-3. Um, Two-team race out there. Chiefs at 2-5, Broncos 1-7. Not really factors right now. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be a really good race to see who wins the division. Of course, Oakland has the leg up. But like I said, they split the series. If it does end in a tie, it comes down to a conference record where the Chargers have an advantage. They're 5-2 in conference over the Raiders being 4-2 in the conference. AFC North, Browns starting to take control of that division, 6-2 overall. Ravens 4-3, Bengals 4-4. I think are obviously the top two contenders to knock off the Browns. I got to go back and see if the Browns defeated the Ravens or if they played once or twice or whatever so far. But the Browns look good. Um, Rashawn Kitchens is throwing the ball pretty well. Defensively, they play a lot of different coverages and they try to take certain things away. Um, the Ravens, you can't write them off. Obviously, they have a lot of talent on both sides. And even the Bengals. The Bengals played really well in their last game. And, they're starting to figure some things out. So Cincinnati could be a dark horse there. AFC South, two-team race between the Texans and the Jaguars. Texans are 6-1. The Jags are 5-2. Um, that'll be another good race that's going to come down to, I think head-to-head battle. I don't know if they've played head-to-head yet or not. But that's going to be a really good race there. And the Bulldogs and Colts just keep fighting and hanging in there, man. The Bulldogs are competitive. Just got to start pulling out the closer ones. In grind mode, just keep fighting, man. That's all I can tell you, man. Just keep fighting. All right, over in the NFC. NFC East, like I said, this is a hell of a race. All the teams are still in it, I believe. Toronto Huskies 4-3, Cowboys 4-3, Redskins 4-4, Giants 3-4. All of these teams are still in it, and they all have a shot at winning this thing and going to the playoffs. I do think the way the NFC is set up, it's only going to be one person out of this division that makes the playoffs against the division winner. So it's going to be a hell of a race going down the stretch here. NFC West, St. Louis Rams are 6-1, 49ers 5-2, Cardinals 5-3. Three-team race there in the NFC West, I believe. I think the Seahawks are a little bit behind the eight ball. There's too much competition there for them to really push to get to the top. That's going to be a hell of a three-team race between those guys there in that division. A lot of talent, a lot of good players. NFC North, I like the Vikings here, 5-2 overall. Um, the other teams are struggling for different reasons. Um, Green Bay's throwing some interceptions and turnovers. The Dragons just have some tough luck sometimes, and the Lions were there already behind the eight ball with the previous owner just not doing anything. So I like the Vikings to win the NFC North as long as barring no injuries or anything crazy happening. NFC South, two-team race between myself, the Panthers, and the Saints. Panthers are 7-1 on the year. The Saints are 5-3. We really have a three-game lead. We have the tiebreaker over the Saints head-to-head. So as long as Cam Newton does not get hurt, please, we'll be just fine in the division, and we're shooting for a bye in the first round. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 3-5. Outside shot of the wild card, possibly they got to fix some defensive things. And the Atlanta Falcons, like I said, they're a dangerous 1-16 because they're playing well, and they just got to get over the hump. And I think they will at some point. I hope it's not against me next week. So that's the standings according to the league right now. Let's take a look at some league leaders. First, we'll start off with the team leaders. Number one offensive team in the league, yours truly, Carolina Panthers. Number two, Houston Texans. Third is Jacksonville Jaguars. Fourth are the Minnesota Vikings. And five are the Cleveland Browns. Top passing teams in the league, number one, Carolina Panthers. Number two, Jacksonville Jaguars. Number three, Houston Texans. Trivia question. What do those three teams have in common? Anybody know? Nobody knows. Okay. They all have quarterbacks that were drafted by the Panthers. Hey, yeah, yeah. Cam Newton, Evan Mason for the Jaguars, Case McCain for the Texans. All former Panther draft picks. Hey, we pick success. That's what we do. Thanks to Al Budley. He was very angry, by the way. You're going to have an appearance here from Al here in a minute. Top rushing teams in the league. Number one, Oakland Raiders. Number two, Minnesota Vikings. Number three, Houston Texans. Number four, St. Louis Rams. And number five, Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Texans and the Jaguars are top five in both passing and running. It's very impressive. All right, top defensive teams in the league. Number one, Portland Lumberjacks. Number two, Oakland Raiders. Number three, Cleveland Browns. Number four, Toronto Huskies. And number five, Carolina Panthers. Top pass defense in the league. Number one, Portland Lumberjacks. Number two, Oakland Raiders. Number three, Cleveland Browns. Number four, Pittsburgh Steelers. Number five, Toronto Huskies. Top rushing defenses in the league. Number one, Portland Lumberjacks. I tell you what the hell. One of them win. Number two, Carolina Panthers. Excuse me. Number three, Baltimore Ravens. Number four, Dallas Cowboys. And number five, Minnesota Vikings. So, team stats. Let's take a look at some player stats here. As it pulls up. Alright, top passing leaders in the league. Number one, Cam Newton. Number two, Rashawn Kitchens with the Browns. Number three, Case McCain with the Texans. Number four, Marcus Mariota with the London Bulldogs. Number five, Russell Wilson, Seattle Seahawks. Top rushing leaders in the league. Number one, Trey Mason with the Minnesota Vikings. Number two, John Scott with the Oakland Raiders. Number three, David Johnson with the Arizona Cardinals. Number four, the Beast, Latavius Murray with the Baltimore Ravens. Excuse me. Number five, Devontae Freeman with the St. Louis Rams. My voice is losing me. Good gracious. Top receivers in the league. This is the worst live show I've ever done. Number one, Kimbrel Spain with the Carolina Panthers. Number two, Rashad Perriman with the Portland Lumberjacks. Number three, Malcolm Kenny with the Jaguars. Number four, Julio Jones with the Falcons. Number five, Kevin White with the Panthers. Now you know I'm not a professional at all. Top defensive leaders in the league. Eric Kendricks for the Giants. Christian Jones, these are tackles for the London Black Knights. Orlando McClain with the Chiefs. Kamal Ishmael with the Black Knights. Mario Davis with the Bengals. Like I said, the defensive stacks. A lot of guys that are getting forces and such are influenced by this. League leaders in sacks. Garrison Wade with the Bengals. Trey Boswell with the Colts. Aaron Donald with the Lumberjacks. Santiago Knight with the Giants. And Tavares Barnes with the Saints. Top interception leaders. Christian Kirksey with the Browns. He had two today. I saw that. Eric Ryan with the 49ers. Kayvon Webster with the Chargers. Harrison Smith with the 49ers. And Chris Harris Jr. with the Denver Broncos. So we'll take a look at some top rookies in stats. As it's pulling up. Alright. Seth Thompson, rookie leader in passing for the LA Dragons, followed by Jamel Woods with the Redskins, and Caleb Fleming with the Panthers. 10 yards. Number three. Top rookie rushers, Tylan Smith with the Broncos, LaMarcus Givens with the Vikings, Matt Scott with the Bills, Dontarius Cole with the Raiders, and Lucius Newman with the Jets. Top rookie receivers, Kenbrell Spain with the Panthers, Trevante Mason with the Bengals, Evan Ash of the Cleveland Browns, Marvin Graham with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and E.J. Dean with the London Bulldogs. Rookie defensive tackle leaders, Rashad Landry with the Colts, E.J. Talbot with the Steelers, Eric Ryan with the 49ers, Melvin Lane with the Texans, and Keon Nelson with the Colts. Rookie sack leaders, Garrison Wade with the Bengals, Patrick Griffin with the Cardinals, Sam Gray with the Cleveland Browns, Jacoby Ford with the Raiders, Rashawn Mason of the L.A. St. Louis Rams. And rookie interception leaders, Eric Ryan with the 49ers, Melvin Lane with the Texans, Patrick Griffin of the Cardinals, the former Panther Jason Harper, now Buffalo Bill, and Jarvis Mason of the Toronto Huskies. Those are your league leaders at this time. Let's keep this train wreck moving with rule reviews. It came up this week with a couple of issues. Some you guys know, some you don't know. One thing that we talked about and we added in after year 5 was the defensive formation setup rule. And this is very important. Make sure you review that rule, okay? And it's coming up with 3 wide mainly. If a guy comes out in 3 wide, you can go dime, you can go dollar, but you cannot go quarter. Quarter is used only against 4 receivers or higher. Alright? That's the only time quarter should be on the field. Alright? There's all kinds of variation you can play against the 3 wide formation. Dime, dollar, nickel, 155, 245, all that. That's fine. But quarter should only be seen against 4 wide or more. And I'm telling you guys, you got to get used to this because in Madden 17, you can't let quarter bail you out. Quarter is meant to stop the pass. That's why the rule is the way it is. Okay. In Madden 17, you're not going to stop the running quarter like you can in this game because it's BS. And the main issue is, and according to Rex Dixon, the guy who's the director for Madden 17, it's the way the DBs play. The way quarter is set up now in Madden 16, DBs react run first. And there's no way in hell if you're in a quarter formation, you're a DB. DBs never play run first, by the way. Unless you're on a blitz or you have a specific assignment against something. DBs are taught to take read steps, and then based on the coverage or whatever the call is, then they go to their assignment. They're not taking read steps in Madden 16. They're just, when they see run, they're flying up. And that's not right because, especially in quarter, you're pass first. And if it's a play action, technically you're supposed to get killed on that. But anyway, I'm done with that. So that's number 1 that came up. Number 2 are the 4th down rules. Okay. Pretty much, it's based on the score and situation, and it's very. Once you see it and you're around and you get used to it, you'll understand it. 4th and 2 or less, at the 50 or across the 50. If you're down, tied, or up by 7 or less, go for it. Okay. If you're down by 21, you can go for it anywhere, anytime. If you're down in the 4th quarter, you can go for it, anywhere, anytime. If it's tied in the 4th quarter, if it's 4th and 2 or less, anywhere on the field, you can go for it. Okay, that's it. That covers all the scenarios. Some guys aren't aware of it. Wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. Um, that's just pretty much how it is. It hadn't really been a huge issue here, but I did want to make sure everybody's aware of those 4th down rules. Excuse me. I don't think there's been any other issues other than at the end of the game, and it's under mercy rule. Let's be respectful. And I've seen some questionable things in a couple of streams I've seen over the past week or so. If the game is over, let it end. I've seen guys kneeling and people calling timeouts when they're kneeling. and the score is just ridiculous. I mean, come on, man. Just let the game end. Something foolish can happen. You get somebody hurt and he's out doing silly stuff, or stream goes down, heaven forbid, or whatever. The game is over, and one guy's conceding it out. You know, let it end. And on the other side of that, remember, if you are up by more than what is it? I gotta find it. Okay. If you're up by more than one score under 2 minutes left, make sure you turn on shoot clock and get the game over with. Now, if he's it's one thing if he's calling timeouts and stuff, all right. But if he's obviously not really, going for it and wants the game to end, don't sit there and throw the ball and try to get more stats for your guy and all this stuff. Just deal the ball and get the game over with. All right, just have respect for each other, because when we lose respect for each other, that's when problems start. All the bullshit starts in the chat, and then I get mad, and then people start leaving the league or getting booted or whatever. And nah, we ain't going there. So just please have respect for each other and make sure you review those rules. Cool. Madden 17. Let's talk a little bit about it. Your team choices are on the main Daddy Leagues page. Someone asked me to break down the divisions. It's way too early for that. I want to make sure everybody makes it first. And once we get into August and I feel like everybody's here, we can start talking about divisions. But make sure you can take a look at who's actually in your division right now. You can go on the Daddy Leagues homepage, and it's the first article listed under the introduction and everything. Um, I did put a blurb on there. If you want to trade uh, teams, you can discuss compensation, whether it be in this Madden or the next Madden. But you need to submit that to me for approval in regards to your team choice for Madden 17. So if you're at the bottom of the order and you see the team that you want at the top, and you want to compensate somebody to take that team from them, or switch, I should say, just reach out to that person, see if they're interested. If not, it is what it is. But if they are, work something out, let me know, and we can work out a switch. Um, but Madden 17 is going to be really interesting with all the commissioner tools that they allow. I don't know if everyone's aware, but we are allowed to change any player in the league. And I'm still going back and forth about whether or not we're going to follow the roster updates that drop every week or so. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to track changes within those roster updates. Hopefully there'll be another document or something along with that to show us guys moving up, moving down, or whatever. I'm playing around with that idea. There's some other things I'm playing around with that we have the ability to do that we don't currently have. So there'll be more coming out about that in the next month or so. Probably closer to August, once things are definite in the game, and once we see the options and everything, there'll be more coming on that. But just to put that in your brain right now. Some trade deadline stuff, and this is where my rant's gonna come in. And I don't know what happened to the music. Oh, it ended. Okay. All right, now we got it. One thing that I'm really not too happy with, and nobody's watching, that's why. I had 3 trade deadline deals set up, and none of them were accepted. Um, there's a way to review things on Daddy Leagues and MaddenCFM.com, which is what runs Daddy Leagues essentially. Um, when you're making deals with people or suggesting things, you gotta follow through, man. It ain't good business. Al Bundy ain't too happy about that. And that's okay. It's alright. like I said, all I try to do is help people, and they don't want to be helped. I ain't helping nobody no more. But that's the end of my rant. I was gonna go ranting and raving, but I decided not to. Browns picked up C.J. Galvin for me. C.J. Galvin went to Ohio State, so he's back home, and the Browns are very happy to have him. The Rams heard offers, and they, tried to offer people things, and nobody wanted Rylan Mason. Nobody wanted Blake Bortles. He didn't get moved. Um, like I said, I had players that were Keenan Allen's been on the block for a while. He didn't get moved. So there wasn't a lot of trade deadline movement. Excuse me, a lot of trade deadline movement. Probably because it's June and it's Father's Day weekend and people got stuff to do. But I ain't got shit to do, so I'm here. But that's really all I got. Nobody's watching right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up, and we'll podcast it somehow. This thing is gonna be a mess, but we'll podcast it, and you guys that missed it will be able to listen to it. Thank God you won't be able to watch it because it was a mess tonight. My voice going out, getting over a cold, all kind of craziness. But appreciate you. You guys are the greatest. Um, One of the best leagues around, still going. Full in June, rolling into July. Um, Next power ranking in a couple of weeks. Madden time. Probably about a week and a half in real life. Other than that, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening if you're on the podcast. Appreciate it.